All right, so here we are on the PMC Lounge live session. I hope you're enjoying this. We're just starting to experiment with this new content type of sorts, and I'm sorry if you're getting this background music from. We're trying to sort of try and see how that works. But I hope everything is fine and you can hear me and you can watch me. So, this is going to be an electrifying and super exciting PMC Lounge live session. We essentially plan to go live every week to delve into real life project management topics that promise to elevate your career, right? Your project management career. So I hope you're ready for this transformative journey of sorts. And I'd urge you to get comfortable, unwind, grab a refreshing drink or a delicious snack, and essentially let me share my screen and unwind with us, right? On this thrilling journey, we can embark on this journey together. So if you want to feel the pulse of the discussion, don't hesitate to share your thoughts. Drop your comments, throw in some likes, and spread the word to let others know that we are live on PMC Lounge. Invite them to join this enriching experience and you can reap the benefits together. So, these live sessions are going to be divided into three sections. You have the welcome section here, followed by the feature content, and that will be followed by the last call, which is where we essentially conclude, right? So we wind things down then. So I have, as you can see, I have a presentation ready with me, and there were some initial minor glitches and hiccups that we were experiencing because this is something that we are trying to do for the first time using this new setup of sorts. But yes, on your screen right now, the slide you see, that is an introduction about me. I got my PMP in 2016, and then there are certain other certifications that I hold, like CSM, Safe Agilist, which is essentially your scaled agile, IC Agile, ATF, Prince 2, Managing Successful Programs, ITIL. I am a speaker, I'm a project management mentor, I am a project management consultant, and I've worked with some of the biggest companies out there in their specific niche. All right, so let's talk about pmclounge.com because this live stream is brought to you by pmclounge.com, our website basically, which is the official website for this YouTube channel. So, quick word about pmclounge.com here. If you're first time here, you might be watching this live or you might be watching this on replay. PMC in PMC Lounge stands for Project Management Certifications. We are all about PMP and other project management related certifications out there. But in addition to that, we also help you stay up to date with what's happening in the world of project management. What are the industry trends, and all those other good stuff that you can essentially count us on, right? So you can definitely subscribe to us. Consider subscribing because as you can see, we have loads of good stuff. Our aim at PMC Lounge has always been to simplify project management, and I've seen that project management, the way it has been taught, is not necessarily the best way to understand some of the concepts of project management, and that is why on this channel you will find all topics related to PMP, all topics related to project management explained in the simplest way possible. So definitely consider subscribing. Thousands of our community members have made use of our resources, the articles that are present on the website pmclounge.com, the playlists on this specific YouTube channel where you're watching this live on, and they have made use of these resources to pass their PMP exam. So definitely consider subscribing. We are present on all other social media platforms as well. As you can see, our handle is PMC Lounge. We have Facebook community. We also have a LinkedIn community, pages, everything that you can ask for. Especially check us out on our Telegram as well, PMC Zone, and join us there. All right. So before we get started and talk about the difference between a product manager and a project manager, the feature content for this live, I just want you to think over this quote that you see on your screen. Operations keeps the lights on, strategy provides a light at the end of the tunnel, but project management is the train engine that moves the organization forward. Can you relate to this quote? Are you watching this live or on replay? Drop the comments and let's get into the content as well for this session. But if you found this quote uh, relevant to you, let me know in the comments as well. All right, let's get into the content. Let's talk about product manager versus project manager. But before we do that, it's good to also understand the difference between a product and a project. So, a product refers to any service or item that an organization creates to serve a customer need. Products can be physical, like your furniture is a product. It can be clothing. It can be digital product as well, like an app or a video feature on website. So essentially, most of the times when we talk about product in the IT industry, in the software industry, we tend to refer to software products like apps, softwares, website, right? So that's something to think about when you hear this word product in the context of IT or software industry. All right. So a project is essentially a temporary endeavor, and it creates value through unique products, services, and processes. The example is construction of a house, rolling out new software update. That can also be a project. So the difference between product and project, I hope, is clear here. A product can be something that is tangible or intangible. It can be tangible like a furniture, it can be intangible like a software. Similarly, a project is essentially a temporary endeavor, and the whole point of a project is to create value, right? So that's how product and project is different. A project has a defined start and end date, while a product doesn't have that. So that's a good differentiator between a product and a project. Every time you talk about a project, you will always see that, this is the start date, this is when we started off with this project, and this is the end date, this is when we are supposed to be closing out this project. But if you look at a product, right, a furniture, does it have an end date? Not really. If it breaks down, that's the end date for the product, right? So a product doesn't necessarily come with a start date and an end date, unlike a project. Now let's talk about some more differences between a product manager and a project manager, because we have now understood the difference between a product and a project. Let's talk about product manager. So product manager oversees a product's success from the beginning to end of its life cycle. And this is important because we just said that the product doesn't really have a start and an end date. So it essentially has a life cycle. And that life cycle, overseeing the product's success throughout that life cycle, is something that a product manager does. A project manager plans and delivers projects to completion. So your work as a project manager is to essentially deliver projects, right? Now, what are some of the words that product manager role resonates with? You have vision, strategy, goals, business trajectory. These are some of the words that a product manager role is going to resonate with. A project manager is going to resonate with words like project plans, execution, and value delivery. So these are the keywords for roles of product manager and project manager. Product manager overall is a relatively new position. It is specific to companies that are product based. Now, obviously, there are companies that are service based. If you are, let's say, a restaurant, so you essentially have certain product, but More or less, you are in a service based industry where you are serving your clients some food. If you are a hotel, you just have a hotel and you are essentially servicing your customers that come to your hotel. But if you make mobile phones, then you are a product based company because you have a product that you sell to your customers. So I hope the difference is clear here. All right, was grabbing a sip of water. Let's move on. Let's talk about a typical product manager job responsibility. Now, what all is a product manager required to do? They should establish critical benchmarks for product success. So, obviously, when you are coming up with a new mobile phone or a new website, you will have certain benchmarks that you are going to basically measure your product against to see if the product is a success or not. Comprehends consumer requirements and communicates them to the product team. So, this is important. Understanding the market, understanding the consumer requirements is something that a product manager is supposed to do. Collaborates with interdisciplinary teams, including engineering, design, and marketing, to formulate and execute product strategy. Now, this is what a product manager is doing, right? Identifies opportunities for enhancing or expanding a product through market analysis and additional research, maintains vigilance over the performance of the product, followed by evaluates and oversees the implementation of new product features. This is important because when you talk about introducing new product features, this is where projects are going to come in, and we are going to see that as we move on in this presentation, right? So next, other than this, what a product manager is supposed to do is to surveil the competitive landscape. This is also important because a product manager needs to know what's happening out there in the market, right? So these are some of the responsibilities that you are going to find a typical product manager taking care of on a day to day basis. Let's talk about typical project manager responsibilities as well. Now, when we talk about project managers, right, you as a project manager could be working in any industry out there because this role is not specific to a single industry or a single area or a single domain. Like a product manager will only be found in a product based company. Project manager can be found anywhere, right? So that is why I wanted to clarify that, because the roles and responsibilities that you're going to see here are very generic and very typical, right? So establish crucial milestones including project scope, timeline, and budget projections, followed by engage in thorough collaboration and communication with leadership and stakeholders. So, this is where your reporting comes into the picture. Develop and sustain processes to accommodate project changes effectively. Utilize project management software to monitor tasks and adhere to the schedule. Ensure effective collaboration within teams. Maintaining motivation and adhering to the schedule. Ensure timely value delivery, because end of the day all projects deliver value, and ensuring that you deliver it timely is also very very important. So in the last two slides we saw how a typical product manager job responsibilities look like and how a typical project manager responsibilities look like. Now, when we talk about product managers these days, our discussions are mostly centered around software industry, around the IT industry, right? Because you have Google, Meta, Amazon, Microsoft. These are software giants out there that hire product managers. And that is why most of the times when we are talking about the product manager job role, we are talking about the software landscape. So, in the software landscape, let's try to understand this. Product based companies, there can be inbound and outbound product managers. Now, this is something that I am now getting into the specifics. It is possible that within the company that you work in, there's no one known as an inbound product manager or an outbound product manager. It could be an internal product manager or an external product manager. The job titles could vary, right? But the point is that inbound product managers focus on backlogs and increments, while outbound product managers study the market and they are customer facing. So it is likely that there are two different type of product managers within your company. It is possible that there are more than two types of product managers in your company. It is also possible that there's only one product manager in your startup who is doing all of this that we just spoke about. But I just wanted to throw this out so that you get an idea of how a lot of IT companies are working. A lot of software companies are working out there. Now, there could be a product owner, and product owner is someone, it's basically a defined role in Scrum way of working as well. We've talked about it. If you want to know more about Scrum and Agile, check out the playlist section for sure. But a product manager or a product owner, not the manager, a product owner role can either follow the Scrum definition that there is for a product owner role, or product owner can be someone who is in a leadership position, and they can be someone who manage a team of inbound and outbound product managers. Again, like I said, we are getting deeper here and we are trying to see how product owner, product managers, these kind of positions relate to specific organizations. For each organization, this is going to be different. But what I am telling you is a very generic way of looking at it, right? A generic way of looking at what roles software companies typically have. Now, this is followed by project managers, right? So, in such companies, projects could be repetitive, introducing smaller improvements. So now in product based companies, especially in software product based companies, projects they are repetitive and they are only introducing smaller improvements. So this is where agile ways of working are more suitable than the traditional project management. So instead of project managers, you might see program managers, scrum masters, release train engineers, because you are not dealing with large projects that take months and months to plan and deliver, right? You're talking about smaller projects that are smaller improvements on top of the product that this product based company has developed. All right, let's take a look at an example to understand this further. Now, the first thing to note here is the product introduction. So, in the software landscape, you might have developed an app or a website or a software. Your version 1.0 of that product could be a long term single project, or it can even be a set of projects that involve R&D, that is research and development. It can involve planning, designing, whatever, right? So this product introduction in itself is going to be a large project. But from here on, when you introduce new feature, right? So this was version 1.0. When you do a version 2.0, and from here on, every time you do version 2.1.0, 2.2.0, or whatever, right? You are essentially delivering multiple small projects or even sprints. So these are all increments. From here on, these are all increments. And this is where the point that I mentioned earlier, that there are smaller projects that essentially deliver increments on top of the version 1.0, the initial uh, delivery that was done, right? So that is why your projects in such an environment are going to be very, very small, and they are more suitable to follow the agile way of working rather than our traditional waterfall model. So, who makes more? Does a product manager earns more, or does a project manager earns more? So in the US, a typical product manager salary in the IT industry starts at 131,000 US dollars, while a project manager salary in the IT industry starts at 88,000 US dollars. Now, one thing to understand here is that project managers in product based companies could make significantly higher than this number here, right? So they might even go with job titles like a program manager or a technical program manager or a scrum master or a release train engineer, right? So the data that we took from the job website, uh, you know, the job website is Glassdoor, by the way. So we only looked at project manager and product manager job title. We didn't look at other job titles which are more relevant to product based companies like a technical program manager, a TPM, or a scrum master, or a release train engineer. So treat this data with a pinch of salt. But overall, what you can see is that a product manager in the IT landscape is making much more than a project manager. Okay, so what are some of the popular certifications and skills for a project manager and a product manager job role? So, for certifications, you can look at under product manager, you can look at certifications offered by Product School, Pragmatic Institute, and AIPMM, which stands for Association of International Product Marketing and Management. So these three are like three of the top most certification providers when it comes to product management related certifications. The skills that you need to become a good product manager are data analysis, market assessment, pricing models, basic business and UX knowledge. So, this is the section for product managers. Let's talk about project managers. You have the king here, PMP, the number one project management certification out there. You also have Prince 2, which is more popular in countries like the UK and some other European countries. You have CAPM. This is a certification again by PMI, the same body that offers the certification of PMP. But PMP requires you to have 3 years of work experience. If you don't have that, go for CAPM. It doesn't require any work experience. Then you have certified Scrum Master, professional Scrum Master, and scaled agile related certifications. So these are some of the popular certifications for the project manager job role. What are some of the skills that you need? You need to be aware of project management approaches like waterfall, Scrum, scaled agile. You need to know risk management, triple constraints management. Triple constraints is basically your scope, cost, and schedule. So for every project, you need to manage these triple constraints: scope, cost, schedule. We already talked about risk management. Quality is one. Communication skills, being able to report to higher management, that is also something that you as a project manager should be able to do. So those are some of the popular certifications and skills that you need. Now, winding this down, I'd like to remind you that we have this lounge access program of sorts. Uh, but before we talk about that, I hope you are getting value out of this live stream so far. Drop a like and let me know. Uh, Now, what do you think about the stuff that we have discussed today, right? We talked about product manager versus project managers. And what would you like to add to it? Did you find something that you would want to, discuss with me? So this is again, when you talk about discussing with me, this is where I'd like to introduce something known as Lounge Access, our Lounge Access program. So you might find this interesting. Uh, Lounge access is essentially your opportunity to discuss your career goals and get your questions answered around the PMP certification, the project management career path, whether you want to jump into project management domain or anything, right? As long as we stick to project management, we can talk about anything. So if you want to discuss any of this with me, if you want to discuss the topic that we talked about today, product manager versus project manager, if you want to know which career path is more suitable for you, drop an email to admin@pmclounge.com and our team will get back to you. This, like I said, is called Lounge Access because remember, we are PMC Lounge. So this is aptly titled as Lounge Access. Here's a testimonial before I let you go. This is by Nelson, and he completed his PMP and dropped this note. I love reading this, and there are other testimonials on the site as well, so I love reading those. And if you have any feedback, if you have any testimonial for us, head over to pmclounge.com/write and let us know. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know how you made use of the resources that we have. And I'm pretty sure our community members can also gain from the experience that you have. So please drop your feedback. It keeps us stay motivated. It keeps us going. You can head over to pmclounge.com/write. Thank you very much. And that's pretty much all that we had in this video. I hope you got value out of it. Like, share, subscribe. If you like our work, consider contributing by heading over to pmclounge.com/contribute. Thank you and have a nice day.